Hey, I'm live. Sweet. I'm going to start out by reading Ezekiel. Oh, I better turn my volume off. I'm going to start out by reading. Hopefully that helps. I got to go to the chat and see if anybody can hear me. Excuse me. Okay. I was going to go Ezekiel chapter 3, verse 17. And I'm not sure how far I'll read, but I just wanted to review these verses a little bit. Actually, I'm going to start in verse 16 of Ezekiel chapter 3. And it came to pass at the end of 7 days that the word of the Lord came unto me, saying, Son of man, I have made thee a watchman unto the house of Israel. Therefore, hear the word at my mouth, and give them warning from me. When I say unto the wicked, Thou shalt surely die, and thou givest him not warning, nor speakest to warn the wicked from his wicked way, to save his life, the same wicked man shall die in his iniquity, but his blood will I require at thine hand. Yet if thou warn the wicked, and he turn not from his wickedness, nor from his wicked way, he shall die in his iniquity, but thou hast delivered thy soul. Again, when a righteous man doth turn from his righteousness and commit iniquity, and I lay a stumbling block before him, he shall die. Because thou hast not given him warning, he shall die in his sin, and his righteousness, which he hath done, shall not be remembered, but his blood will I require at thine hand. Nevertheless, if thou warn the righteous man that the righteousness sin not, and he doth not sin, he shall surely live, because he is warned. Also, thou hast delivered thy soul. I think that was all I was going to read for right there. I think. Let me just double check. Hey, Mike, and I never said hi to Paul and to the Lord is King Jesus, and to Elizabeth Collier, if that's how you say that. I'm not very good. And Calvin Eversoul and Truth Channel. What's up? I'm talking about being a watchman for the things that that I know are coming. I mean, that I've read. There's so many books that are in the Bible that are talking about it. So I just was going over. It's a serious thing that when we see something, and probably most of the people that are in here are seeing something, and being yeah, I like that LOL, that L. Yeah, the end is near. But so something that's been revealed to me that's just a huge change in my my understanding. And actually, I'm going to bring this camera over to this thing. Hopefully this works. I won't be able to see what I'm pointing at, so I just want you to look at this. I just drew this thing. Hopefully you can see it there. Okay, like this, where those 7 stars are, kind of lower to the ground there, than those, if you can get what I'm drawing there. There's Enoch talks about 7 all right. Enoch talks about 7 transgressing stars, and we could probably read that. Let's see here. Limitless channels here. Hey, I'm not talking behind your back. I'm just thinking that you guys are seeming to be really interested in maps, and what I would say about a map is that I think that's what got it, got us able to slip into this. They are upright. I'm trying to understand what you mean. I'm not talking behind your back. You just have, I mean, I just saw a video, and I'm not trying to get into it because that's not, I don't really care about my view is this: we do not have and never will have a map that images this world. This world is it. I mean, walk out the front door and take a breath and look around. That's our map. You know what I mean? And yes, of course, we have navigation. We have all these things, but and I believe that there's a way to understand them all, but I don't know that we do yet. But I think we will. Yeah. So no, I'm not trying to fight either. I do think that kind of going against a brother over a map, I think it's misunderstood. That's all. But but we all have our own opinions too, and it doesn't mean that I'm right. So keep that in mind. I mean, I look at this from my point of view, and we all do, really. Hi, Lawrence. Yeah, sorry, I'm going to continue right now. I'm just okay. So I was talking about being a watchman, that it's a serious thing to God when he shows us something. And I know a lot of people here are literally seeing a vision. Yeah, that's cool. Limitless channel. Same to you, man. It's, I think if we're all, have our arrows pointed towards Jesus Christ, then we are working together no matter what, even when we disagree on things. So we have to keep that in mind. And that's part of being a watchman. I think we have a team of people that are, we have insight, and it's not because we're smart. It's supernatural. So that's the part I would really like to stress with everyone, is that flat earth coming to the world, at first to me, and I think everyone, it was something about the world and about the, deception, the shape of the world and all this. And mine's changed. It's kept going in the word here. As I get more familiar with all these older prophets and stuff, it's amazing what the Lord shows you in a book. It's amazing. So I was going to go to Jeremiah 51, because we need to, I'll be honest, what's going through my mind right now is, I don't even remember exactly which chapter it is in Revelation, but I'm going to find it because it's worth it. It's been on my mind. It says, I know where it is on the page. I just got to find the page. I have no idea what chapter it was in. Oh, okay, here we are. It's in chapter 10, verse 7. But in the days of the voice of the seventh angel, when he shall begin to sound, the mystery of God should be finished, as he hath declared to his servants, the prophets. So maybe we are servants, the prophets, the people who, I mean, I know personally the Lord is King Jesus. He sees things that can't be seen by normal people. And I'm not saying that we're special or something. I'm saying that we're inspired by, well, I'm not saying it. Isaiah's saying it. All these other prophets are saying it. Let me share some Isaiah 42, verse 6 and 7. I, the Lord, have called thee in righteousness, and will hold thine hand, and will keep thee, and give thee for a covenant of the people, for a light of the Gentiles, to open the blind eyes, to bring out the prisoners from the prison, and them that sit in darkness out of the prison house. Verse 16, I will bring the blind by a way that they knew not. I will lead them in paths that they have not known. Feel like the last few years? To me, it does. I will make darkness light before them and crooked things straight. Crooked things straight. I mean, it's like literally just telling us this. And then we have Zechariah tells us about kind of like the personal things that happen when we prophesy. That's what's happening, I guess. It's not a normal word we use in 2018 for preaching truth, but that's what it is. And you know, the interesting thing is in this chapter 10 of Revelation too, John is told at the very end of the chapter in verse 11 that it says, and he said unto me, thou must prophesy again before many peoples and nations and tongues and kings. I think that's one of those, it's right in the next chapter. One of those two witnesses is John, I believe. Yeah, you're right. We are prophesying. But then we say, no, I'm not a prophet. I'm a carpenter. That's in Zechariah 13 too. Not verse 2, but also, I mean, Zechariah 13 also. Okay, so Jeremiah 51. I'm being shown in the word what Babylon is, and that everybody's in love with Babylon and defending it and gathered against Jesus or Zion. They're gathered against Zion, I guess, or Jerusalem, Israel. Okay. Yeah, we'll go to Jeremiah 51. Okay. And we're going to go through this slow. So I don't think we'll get all the way through it, but we got to go through it slow because it's like telling a story. Okay. Let's see if we need to go back. No, we don't. Okay. I'm just going to start with verse 1. Thus saith the Lord, behold, I will raise up against Babylon, okay, and against them that dwell in the midst of them that rise up against me, a destroying wind. So he will raise up a destroying wind against Babylon. And it says, against them that dwell in the midst of them that rise up against me. What if we were to take that word really literally once? That rise up against me, that like a rocket or I'm just saying, think of like the Tower of Babel, that type of stuff. Okay. And a destroying wind. Okay. And then I'm thinking of flat earth. Okay. I'm just being open and honest because this is Babylon is something in that picture there. And what you were saying, limitless, I'm not saying that I know anything about how the stars work or how they move around. I'm just saying that there's things in the word that are telling me that it's a prison and that we could call it Babylon. But I think Jeremiah 51 seems to be calling it Babylon. But okay, verse 2. And will send unto Babylon fanners that shall fan her and shall empty her land. For in the day of trouble they shall be against her round about. So we are John the Baptist for flat earth and the Lord's return. I think that's pretty accurate there, pretty much. But okay, just picture the flat earthers, and Babylon is a lie. It's a lie that it's not a lie that men are telling either. We'll get there. Okay. Well, there's probably some men telling it, but verse 3, against him that bendeth, let the archer bend his bow. I'm just thinking of like the time lapses of the rocket launches. You just see the, but let's see here. Okay, this is, to me, it's just like plainly telling us in the language of that time, it's telling us something. Against him that bendeth, let the archer bend his bow. And against him that lifteth himself up in his brigandine, that's like a body armor, like a metal caged body armor. And spare ye not her young men, destroy ye utterly all her host. Thus the slain shall fall in the land of the Chaldeans, and they that are thrust through in her streets. For Israel hath not been forsaken, nor Judah of his God, of the Lord of hosts, though their land was filled with sin against the Holy One of Israel. Okay, flee out of the midst of Babylon and deliver every man his soul. His soul. Hey, coffee house. Flee out of the midst of, okay, be not cut off in her iniquity, for this is the time of the Lord's vengeance. He will render unto her a recompense. Babylon hath been a golden cup in the Lord's hands, that made all the earth drunken. The nations have drunken of her wine. Therefore the nations are mad. Babylon is suddenly fallen and destroyed. Howl for her, take balm for her, if so she may be healed. Okay, let's go to Revelation 17. John sees what he calls Babylon, and he calls her the mystery Babylon, mother of harlots, I think. Mystery Babylon the Great, the mother of harlots and abominations of the earth. So where does John go to see this beast? Okay, I'm in Revelation 17, verse 3. An angel that was pouring out the wrath came over to John and said, I'm going to show you the judgment of the great whore that sitteth upon many waters. Okay, that's Babylon. In verse 3, so he carried me away in the spirit into the wilderness, and I saw a woman sit upon a scarlet-colored beast full of names of blasphemy, having 7 heads and 10 horns. Well, if you guys have looked at any of my videos, I think it's pretty clear what the 7 heads and 10 horns are, because this is all talking about Babylon and the world being drunk, the whole world being deceived and taking stock in space. Logic before authority. So we got upon her forehead was a name written, Mystery Babylon the Great, the mother of harlots and abominations of the earth. And I saw the woman drunken with the blood of the saints and with the blood of the martyrs of Jesus. And when I saw her, I wondered with great admiration. So he was like looking at it like with his jaw down, oh, wow. Okay. And the angel, now this is important too. This is verse 7 in chapter 17 in Revelation. And the angel said unto me, wherefore didst thou marvel? ? I will tell thee the mystery of the woman and of the beast that carrieth her, which hath the 7 heads and 10 horns. Now, when we look up like the word by word on Bible Hub, I'm not going to do it right now, but it says, because you marveled, I will show you the mystery. So I take that to be something like quite important, because here's what it says. So I wondered with great admiration. And then the angel asked him, why'd you marvel? And then he says, because you're going to marvel, I'm going to tell you the mystery of the woman and of the beast that carrieth her. The beast that thou sawest was and is not, and shall ascend out of the bottomless pit and go into perdition. And this is important right here, and they that dwell on the earth shall wonder, just like John did, wonder with great admiration. They shall wonder whose names were not written in the book of life from the foundation of the world, when they behold the beast that was and is not and yet is. So this is basically showing us 2 different kinds of people right here. It's saying that those that have their names in the book of life from the foundation of the world. Now, I've read about the book of life other places, but I think this is probably, if I remember right, this is the only place where it says from the foundation of the world. And those are those 144,000 children of Israel. So that could be tied in with flat earth. And I personally myself believe that it is, but okay, when they beheld the beast that was, and it is not, and yet is. Okay, here's the mind which hath wisdom. The 7 heads are 7 mountains on which the woman sitteth. And there are 7 kings, 5 are fallen, and 1 is, and the other is not yet come. And when he cometh, he must continue a short space. I think I know what that is too. Truth seeker. The beast that was, okay, he's the 8th and goeth into perdition. Okay, now this is where I think people are misunderstanding our enemy. We have an enemy here on earth, and all these truthers fighting, but they don't know their enemy at all. They do, but they know, I think I want to call it, they know the mainstream enemy. And the mainstream enemy is like the Roman Catholic Church, and it's the Jesuits, and there is evil in this world, lots of it. And there's a lot of Freemason accusations, and a lot of it's true. But the only thing I need to point out is who drives it. Okay, when did it start? I think it started a long time ago, and it's all in Genesis. And ever since that day, everybody that's been alive has been battling flesh, and the only way their own flesh, the only way to overcome it and be looked upon as clean is by the blood of Jesus Christ. So what is this saying though? This isn't talking about only about salvation, because these beasts are deceiving the world, and that it's costing the blood of the saints or whatever, or she was drunken with the blood of the saints. So like there's people sacrificing hey, Elizabeth, to me we are the bride or the body, and the beast is the government. See, and that's what I want to point out, is that it could be said that government drives this deception, but the deception, the beasts here are something that these guys saw with their eyes. They saw them, and they said that they saw horns. And then it says, and the 10 horns which thou sawest are 10 kings. So it's still talking about horns, right? I'm just showing you this because this is what I believe they are. They built 10 of them too, of those first dragon capsules. They built 10 of them. So on their 11th mission to the ISS, they reused one of the 10. And I think that's what there are 7 kings, 5 are fallen, 1 is, and the other is not yet come. I think the one that is not yet come, and when he cometh must continue a short space, I think that's the crew dragon. And they're launching that supposedly in August, but I'm sure they'll be late. But hey, how's it going, CP Howitzer? Okay, so we were in Jeremiah 51. Babylon is suddenly fallen and destroyed. Okay. Now this is where it gets interesting. Let's see here. Verse 11. Make bright the arrows. This is Jeremiah 51, verse 11. Make bright the arrows, gather the shields. The Lord hath raised up the spirit of the kings of the Medes for his device against Babylon to destroy it, because it is the vengeance of the Lord, the vengeance of his temple. Okay, so the spirit of the king of the Medes and the Lord is going to raise them up for his device. He's going to use these evil spirits of these kings of the Medes, which we're going to find out who they are because Daniel tells us who they are, but for his device against Babylon to destroy it. Okay. Let's see. Okay, so if we go to Daniel, we find out who these dudes are. In Daniel 8, as well as 7 and 8, but in 8 verse, okay, the ram which thou sawest, this is 8 verse 20. Now the ram, that's another word you got to look up in Hebrew, because it can be an animal, but it's, the way I read it, it's like just as likely to be a tree or a post. So like a strong oak tree or something. So that's one, when he's talking about the ram, it could be something, it could be a rocket. Well, let's do this. This is awesome that I just saw this verse. Daniel 8 verse 10. You tell me it's not a rocket, okay? And it waxed great even to the host of heaven, and it cast down some of the host and of the stars to the ground and stamped upon them. Okay, it wouldn't have to be a rocket. It could be something we don't know about. But in our world today, a rocket would kind of fit that. Okay. So, and verse 11, yea, he magnified himself even to the prince of the host. The prince of the host is, I believe it's Michael, who stands for the children of Israel, I think, and delivers the children of Israel. So I think when they're saying prince, that they're talking about angels, because in verse, or in Daniel 10, where is it? Yeah, the last verse in Daniel 10, verse 21. But I will show thee that which is noted in the scripture of truth, and there is none that holdeth with me in these things but Michael, your prince. And then in chapter 12, it says, verse 1, it says, and at that time shall Michael stand up, the great prince which standeth for the children of thy people. And there shall be a time of trouble, such as never was since there was a nation, even to that same time. At that time, and at that time, thy people shall be delivered, everyone that shall be found written in the book. Now, that just actually brought up a question for me too, if anybody caught that. Written in the book, it doesn't, that's where one other place where I read about the book, but it doesn't mention from the foundation of the world. So I don't know on that. That's one thing that I do not know. But so let's go back to Jeremiah. Oh, did I say did we go through Daniel 8 and say maybe I missed that a little bit. Sorry. It was verse 20, I think. Yeah. The ram which thou sawest having 2 horns are the kings of Media and Persia. The rough goat is the king of Grecia. And the king of Grecia is the one that's going to come while Gabriel is, or Gabriel? Withstood me, the prince of the kingdom of Persia withstood me 21 days. But lo, Michael, one of the chief princes, came to help me, and I remained there with the kings of Persia. I think they're battling. I think this is like in the spiritual realm. Do you think the dragon capsule on a Falcon Heavy is the one that would make a crack in the firmament and have stars entities fall down? You know what? I did think that precisely what you just said there. I thought that, but there's something that I can comment on. You might you'll understand what I mean is in Revelation 12, when we read about the red dragon that cast a third of the stars. Well, actually, let's go there. I want to look at that because there's another way to look at who that would be. That could be the Falcon 9 booster too, because the dragon's tail, I mean, it's the booster that lifts the dragon up into orbit or whatever. Orbit. More like yo-yos for evil spirits. So Babylon, though, we got to definitely finish on Babylon, where that is and what that is. Enoch 21 comes into it. I should check my email and see if you guys hear that thunder. I don't know if you can hear it. It's like rainy and thundery here. Whoops. Where was I? Uh-oh. Okay, there we go. All right. Chapter 12. Whoops, one more page. There appeared a great wonder in heaven, a woman clothed with the sun and the moon under her feet, and upon her head a crown of 12 stars, which I believe we saw in September of 2017. I think a lot of people believe that too. Eyes wide open. Hi. Okay, and she being with child cried, travailing in birth and pain to be delivered. In verse 3, and there appeared another wonder in heaven, and behold, a great red dragon. Oh, I can do a screen share, can't I? Yeah, I can. I gotta show you guys something. Let me figure out how to do this. Hopefully it works. Screen share. I am screen sharing. Present to everyone. I probably have to present to everyone. Okay. Let's see. Where do we go? Let's go right here. Okay, Red Dragon was a 2011. Hopefully you guys can see this. I'm gonna actually check the chat. Can you guys see my Wikipedia thing? And then now probably the chat. The sun shall be darkened. Yeah. Okay, I'm going back to the space. Oh yeah, it looks like. Hopefully, whatever. This is supposedly they canceled it or whatever. This is what you're talking about. CP Howitzer, SpaceX Dragon 2 capsule. This was a Mars mission that NASA was. Let's see here. It was conceived in 2011 as a PAT. Okay, now that is it sits on the Falcon Heavy, and that's really it's very much like what Daniel described, right? In Daniel 8. And here's the other thing is, okay, verse 3, the having 7 heads and 10 horns and 7 crowns upon his heads. Verse 4, this is chapter 12 in Revelation. And his tail drew the third part of the stars of heaven and did cast them to the earth. And the dragon stood before the woman, which was ready to be delivered, for to devour her child as soon as it was born. So this is just an interesting thing, SpaceX Dragon. What was the other thing I was gonna look up? Let's see here. Maybe it's this. Okay, this is the Dragon version 1 right here. Oh, let's do CRS resupply. Okay, this page has a ton of information that seems to coincide with a lot of okay, it tells you about all their missions. And we go to the 11th mission. Okay, being the 100th mission to be launched. It was aborted. Okay, whoops. Okay, right here. This mission was the first to refly a recovered Dragon capsule that previously flew on the CSRS-4 mission. That is because they only built 10 of this capsule. It's like $400 million for one of the capsules. So it's not like they just pop them out of their factory or something. It's like a serious build project. But okay, this is the other one. This is Cygnus, right? This is from Orbital ATK. They didn't do as good, but what am I looking for? Okay. There's something that I was looking for at the bottom of the page. Okay, in 2016, NASA announced that 3 companies had been awarded contracts for a minimum of 6 launches each. SpaceX, Orbital ATK, and Sierra Nevada. Now, these are 2019 through 2024. So they plan on continuing the ISS till, well, at least 2024, I think. Okay, back to the Bible. Let's let me go back to, how do I, oh, here we go, stop sharing. I hope that stopped sharing. Okay. I'm still kind of new to all this. Okay, cool, you could see that. Okay. Oh, Revelation 12:4 didn't happen yet. See, what I'm wondering, what I'm thinking is that when Falcon Heavy launches, I don't know this, but I'm wondering if it's something casting stars down with its with when the boosters land, because in Revelation 13 it says, in verse 13 it says, and he doeth great wonders, so that he maketh fire come down from heaven on earth in the sight of men, and deceiveth them that dwell on the earth by the means of those miracles. So the flat earthers should be able to relate to this, honestly, because we already know that it's a deception. Okay, now that's the subject. The deception is in our, we know it because it's in our hearts, because God showed it to us. That's really why we know it. We don't know the extent of it, and I'm learning that it's different than we thought. Let's see here. Oh, Florida, nice. Okay, so I'm going to Jeremiah again. Verse 13 in chapter 51. O thou that dwellest upon many waters, abundant in treasures, thine end is come, and the measure of thy covetousness. The Lord of hosts hath sworn by himself, saying, surely I will fill thee with men, as with caterpillars, and they shall lift up a shout against thee. And then it says, he hath made the earth by his power. He hath established the world by his wisdom, and hath stretched out the heaven by his understanding. When he uttereth his voice, there is a multitude of waters in the heavens, and he causeth the vapors to ascend from the ends of the earth. He maketh lightnings with rain, and bringeth forth the wind out of his treasures. This is making a claim. Remember, this is prophesying from the Lord. The very first thing in the chapter, it says, thus saith the Lord. And so, and it continues on through this so far. So he's claiming his creation. Let's see here. I'm just checking the chat because, because I'm usually not very entertaining with what I say, but okay, let's see here. Then it says, they are vanity, the work of errors. In the time of their visitation, they shall perish. I'm just trying to look for some of the verses that stood out to me, because what I'm trying to do is I'm trying to establish that we already know where Babylon is specifically, because of a few verses. Really, it's not that many verses. Let's do this. Let's go look up Enoch. I'm going to screen share again. Let's just go look up Enoch 21, and then maybe a little bit more. Okay. Hopefully that's sharing. I'll check. Oh yeah, it's sharing, I think. And we'll just look up Enoch, and then this is where I was reading, I think. Yeah. So it was, oops, 21 right here. Okay. Now, remember in Revelation 17, verse 3, the angel took John into the spirit, into the wilderness, or a wilderness, one or the other. The wilderness, okay? This, I think, is the same place right here. I proceeded to where things were chaotic, and I saw there something horrible. I saw neither a heaven above nor a firmly founded earth, but a place chaotic and horrible. And there I saw 7 stars of the heaven, bound together in it, like great mountains and burning with fire. Then I said, for what sin are they bound, and on what account have they been cast in hither? So he's looking at it like it's they're in there, okay? Then said Uriel, one of the holy angels who was with me, and was chief over them, and said, Enoch, why dost thou ask? And why art thou eager for the truth? These are the number of stars, of the stars of heaven, which have transgressed the commandment of the Lord, and are bound here till 10,000 years, the time entailed by their sins, are consummated. And from thence I went to another place, which was still more horrible than the former. So he's going to a different place now. So he saw these 7 star, or what did he call them at first? And I saw 7 stars of the heaven bound together in it. Okay, so now he's going to another place, and it says, which was still more horrible than the former. And I saw a horrible thing, a great fire there, which burnt and blazed, and the place was cleft as far as the abyss, being full of great descending columns of fire. Descending means going down, right? Neither its extent or magnitude could I see, nor could I conjecture. Then I said, how fearful is the place, and how terrible to look upon. So he's like, that's awful, you know? Then Uriel answered me, one of the holy angels who was with me, and said unto me, Enoch, why hast thou fear and affright, or such fear and affright? And I answered, because of this fearful place, and because of the spectacle of the pain. And he said unto me, this place is the prison of the angels, and here they will be in prison forever. Okay, that the fallen angels, well, it says right here, preliminary and final place of punishment for the fallen angels. Okay, so they're transgressing stars, and the place where 7 of them are bound is what I theorize to be the place where 7 planets are on a different course than all the other stars. So, and those would be what the world believes to be gods. Oh, I'm still screen sharing here. To be gods, like molten. Where's that in Isaiah? We got to read that. Isaiah 42, verse 17. They shall be turned back. They shall be greatly ashamed that trust in graven images, and say to the molten images, ye are our gods. Jupiter, Saturn, all those planets. What names do they all have? They all have names of these mighty men. That's really what it comes back to, is Greek gods or Roman gods, and the mythology. It's just the mighty men. It's fallen angels. And they're who knows what they're doing these days. But let's see here. I'm gonna go. Okay, we're gonna go to Revelation 18, verse 2. Okay, so there's a prison, and it seems like it's not the place where the 7 stars are, but it says, let's see here, are bound till 10,000 years. And from thence I went to another place, which was still more horrible than the former. And this place it looked like it was like an abyss. So I have no idea. But Revelation 18 verse 2, actually, we should go over Revelation 18 a little bit. Because it talks about Babylon falling. Actually, we're going to do that, but let me just, okay, Jeremiah 51 verse 37. And Babylon shall become heaps, a dwelling place for dragons, an astonishment, an hissing without an inhabitant. Okay. Verse 43, her cities are a desolation, a dry land, and a wilderness, a land where no man dwelleth, neither doth any son of man pass thereby. I think it's a delusion. Okay, I'm just looking to see if I had marked any other verses. Okay, we might go back there, but Revelation 18. I'm just going to read for a little bit. Okay, verse 1. And after these things, I saw another angel come down from heaven, having great power, and the earth was lightened with his glory. And he cried mightily with a strong voice, saying, Babylon the Great is fallen, is fallen. This is the important part right here. And is become the habitation of devils, the hold of every foul spirit, and the cage of every unclean and hateful bird. For all nations have drunk the wine of the wrath of her fornication. Oh, we could talk about the fornication because it's visual. John, let me go here. All right, there we are. Flashes three colors. That one might be Sirius. Sirius is like a rainbow flashing in it looks like. Yeah. Pluto. Yeah, I guess, yeah, I don't know. I guess I just was looking at the number 7. I think there was 8 when I just looked quick on, I don't know, Google or whatever. I think there was 8, but yeah, they counted Earth as one of the planets. So they're wrong there. But okay, let's see here. The fornication was visual, which is a little interesting, but it's the kings of the earth that they give their power to the beast, or that was in Revelation 17. Okay, and the 10 horns which thou sawest upon the beast, he saw 10 horns. So I think it's that dragon capsule. This is kind of weird here, but these shall hate the whore and shall make her desolate and naked and shall eat her flesh and burn her with fire. So I don't really know exactly what that means, but we know that God put it in their hearts to fulfill his will. And we saw that in, I don't remember which verse in Jeremiah 51 that said that the Lord was going to raise up the spirits of the kings of the Medes. And then in Daniel, the 3 that he saw was Media, Persia, and Grecia, however you say that. Okay, this is an important verse here too. Verse 18 in chapter 17 of Revelation. And the woman which thou sawest, is that great city which reigneth over the kings of the earth. Okay, when it says that, we have to keep the context, because the kings of the earth, they looked like horns, 10 horns. So it's not talking about men at all. It's talking about and the 10 horns which thou sawest are 10 kings. So where did John see the horns? Well, he saw them having 7 heads and 10 horns. So he saw something with 10 horns. And it was holding up that woman. Very interesting. Let's see here. These shall make war with the Lamb. Okay, back to Revelation 18. Okay. Yeah, it's real important, the words here. For all nations have drunk the wine of the wrath of her fornication, and the kings of the earth have committed fornication with her, and the merchants of the earth are waxed rich through the abundance of her delicacies. The merchants of the earth are the powers that be, or the elite, or the people that make money off of the lie. Hey, Shannon. Pluto's a Disney thing, isn't it? I'm just kidding. Okay, verse 4. And I heard another voice from heaven saying, "Come out of her, my people, that ye be not partakers of her sins, that ye receive not of her plagues." Okay, this is like an angel calling, and I think he's been calling about 3 years now. Come out, come out. And that brings me back to Revelation 2, because it talks about this challenge that we're up against. This is to the church of, or the angel of the church of Thyatira, I think. It's talking about Jezebel seducing the children of Israel to commit fornication, or his servants to commit fornication. And I gave her space to repent of her fornication, and she repented not. Behold, I will cast her into a bed, and them that commit adultery with her into great tribulation, except they repent of their deeds. So what I just read, come out of her, my people, that ye be not partakers of her sins, that ye receive not of her plagues. You don't want to go through tribulation. That's into great tribulation. So see, the whole world went and was seduced by Jezebel. And we were born into this seduction even. So we didn't understand it to be evil. It was just what we were born into, the way that the world thought when we were born. But that it's being revealed to us that it's much different than we thought. What we really thought. Yeah, Jeff Bezos is a major merchant. That's true, for sure. Yep, I agree. CP Howitzer. 7 heads are the various space agencies. They are NASA, Roscosmos, ISRO, the Indian Space Agency or whatever, CSNA, the Chinese, and JAXA, the Japanese, and then European Space Agency, and then either, what is it, the Space Coast, Air Force Space Coast Command or something like that, or Space Command, or SpaceX, basically. The G7, I know nothing about it. Let's see here. Okay, so that angel says, receive not of her plagues, for her sins have reached unto heaven, and God hath remembered her iniquities. What if we take that literal? Let's do that. Her sins have reached up to heaven. I put a picture on Facebook the other day of, it was just the shuttle launching with the big plume, and the Tower of Babel fit perfect in there. So I put that in there. Oh, I actually made that like a year ago, I think. But okay, reward her even as she rewarded you, and double unto her, double according to her works. In the cup which she had filled to her double. How much she hath glorified herself and lived deliciously, so much torment and sorrow give her. For she saith in her heart, I sit a queen and am no widow, and shall see no sorrow. Therefore shall her plagues come in one day, death, mourning, and famine, and she shall be utterly burned with fire. For strong is the Lord God who judgeth her. And the kings of the earth, remember, these are horns, the kings of the earth who have committed fornication and lived deliciously with her. So I think that I'm just giving you my theories or whatever. Just, I got to find the right picture though, if I have it here somewhere. I might have to this one will just have to do. Okay, so this is the They made 10 of these, and this is what goes up. Oh, I got it right on here if I screen share. I'm learning. Okay, sorry. Screen share again. Present. And then, or not that one, it was this one, right? Okay, so this, we'll get some, I gotta find the right picture. How it launches. It just sits on the very top of the rocket. Maybe I should try typing something else in. Let's see. They gotta have a picture of one launching. I don't want to waste a bunch of time on it. Okay, so anyway, this sits up on top of the rocket, and when it launches, it does this. These solar panels pop out like this. Oh, there we go. It sits right here. It's this little teeny thing on the top. So there's a second stage right there, and then there's the booster that does all the work right there. And whether space is real or not, these capsules are real. I'm not saying that there's anything we can verify on any of that, but so they do all these captures, and I could even go to my YouTube channel and search for anything dragon, and you'll get a video. You'll get a bunch of videos about it, but they videotape it. It looks the same every time, and it looks like just crappy. It looks just bad. But so here we go. It connects the birth, and this is kind of almost visually looks like fornication. This right here, yeah, you get the picture and you understand what I'm saying. So that's one thing, but I'm understanding it a little bit different. I'm going to stop screen sharing now, I think. Okay. There we are. And all right. See, and that's what, I mean, I know it's kind of like graphic to talk about it, but I think that's what John was seeing. He said he saw fornication. Okay. And it just says it a bunch of different ways too. But it's always the kings of the earth that commit fornication with Babylon, and that makes the world drunk off of that wine that makes or whatever. And there's, I'm just, like I say, I'm just a carpenter, so I don't know. I'm sure there's a lot of theological mumbo jumbo that people probably are taught. I don't know. I'm not taught those things. I'm taught in the word. So let's see. And the kings of the earth who have committed fornication and lived deliciously with her shall bewail her and lament for her when they shall see the smoke of her burning. So that almost sounds like it could be talking about different kings of the earth. I mean, that could be talking about men or something, because it sounds like they're going to see, I don't know, standing afar off for the fear of her torment, saying, alas, alas, that great city, Babylon, that mighty city, for in 1 hour thy judgment has come, and the merchants of the earth shall weep and mourn over her, for no man buyeth their merchandise anymore. Like NASA shirts. No, they're not going to buy our NASA shirts anymore. Close up shop. Okay. Let's see. Okay, this is important. Verse 13. It's saying all the merchandise that okay. The last thing it says in verse 13 is the souls of men. And the fruits of thy soul lusted after are departed from thee, and all the things which were dainty and goodly are departed from thee, and thou shalt find them no more at all. The merchants of these things, which were made rich by her. I mean, just think of space satellites and all the money that goes into. I mean, look at each rocket launch Elon Musk does. I should just type that in over here. what are they, $36 million for just their standard Falcon 9 launch? Falcon 9 launch. Oops. Cost. 62 million. Sorry, I was way off. I was like half. 62 million every time it launches. 90 million for the Falcon Heavy. Ooh, her being money. Yeah, who knows? I know what you're saying. Let's see here. I'm going to continue. Okay. Alas, that great city. So remember, she's a city that was clothed in fine linen and purple and scarlet and decked with gold and precious stones and pearls. For in 1 hour, so great riches is come to naught. And every shipmaster and all the company and ships and sailors, and as many as trade by sea, stood afar off and cried when they saw the smoke of her burning, saying, what city is like unto this great city? And they cast dust on their heads and cried, weeping, wailing. Okay, let's see here. Oh, verse 20 is important for the flat earthers that are fighting for the truth. Okay. Rejoice over her, thou heaven, and ye holy apostles and prophets, for God hath avenged you on her. Oh, cool. Thunder happened right when I said that. Okay. Now, this is where we get to see. I'm not even going to get into this because I haven't studied it enough, or I haven't been led to it enough. I mean, I've read it a lot, but talking about one like unto the Son of Man and those that are with him, that's another story. Okay, but for the Watchmen thing, that people are saying, oh, when the Antichrist is going to be revealed, and I don't like using that term. Hey, authentic intent, Josh, right? Yeah, how you doing, brother? Cool. Oh, is that today at 4? I might be able to. I totally forgot about it. Thank you for the reminder. 4 o'clock. You'll be there, right? I'm sure you will. Is it hard to park down there? I'm just curious because I got a pickup truck that's a long box and whatever. It's a sweet truck, but it doesn't turn very good. So I'm just curious if you're on there still, but let's see here. So anyway, but the Watchmen thing, if people are talking about the Antichrist or the son of perdition and stuff, to me, that's been revealed for a long time. Good, easy parking. That'll probably get me down there then. 4 p.m. I can't say for sure, but I'll try to get down there. It's early yet. So, yeah, that'd be cool to meet up with you. And I'm sure there'll be other people there too. Let's see here. I guess what I'm saying is that I think this mystery is being revealed. And what I mean is Babylon. I think Babylon it's a prison. And I think what's happening, and whether the ISS is a real piece of machinery that we believe to be floating around in space, or the world does, or if it's pure deception and totally some digital trick or something. It's the same situation to me in both, that the reason why we know this is because God's visiting this place. So yes, it will go on for a while. We close it down probably. Nice. Cool, Wisconsin. Nice. Yeah, thank you for reminding me, brother. I'm going to try to go there. Thanks for coming on or stopping by. Let's see here. So basically, to me, this stuff's all revealed that and it's just that people don't want to talk about it, or that they don't want to come to the full realization. Yeah, that's it. That is what is going on. And I'm just, I'm not trying to say that I know. I'm trying to show it to you in the Word. Well, here, Ephesians 6, 12 says, "For we wrestle not against flesh and blood, but against principalities, against powers, against the rulers of the darkness of this world, against spiritual wickedness in high places." So I think that our battle is against a bunch of people in Babylon. Yeah, Minnesota Flat Earth Brewery today at 4 p.m. Promo video on, go over to Authentic Intent and check out his video. I'm sure you got all the info over there, which I will be going over there when I'm done with this. See the serpent on the pole, money. Yeah, and the money, that really bothers me too, the back of the dollar bill. Let's see, I got some money right here. What do I got? Oh, I got a dollar bill. Check this out. You guys will like this. Dollar bill, right? You fold it, and you fold it, and you fold it, and you change it into $100 bill. How's that? Oh, I did it too low for my camera. Now I'm watching the replay. We'll see. Oh, I got it. You only saw half of it. Yeah, all this stuff on the money is messed up. The pyramid and stuff. I don't like that. Okay, so I just know that we're, according to the book of Revelation, that has been something that I've become very familiar with. There's a time when prophesying is going to be done, and there will be, I'm just trying to use the scriptures here. Going back to Isaiah, there'll be a time when one shall say, this is Isaiah chapter 44, verse 4, "When they shall spring up as among the grass, as willows by the watercourses, one shall say, I am the Lord's, and another shall call himself by the name of Jacob, and another shall subscribe with his hand unto the Lord, and surname himself by the name of Israel. And who, as I shall call and shall declare it, and set it in the order for me, since I appointed the ancient people, and the things that are coming and shall come, let them show unto them." Okay, he's showing us, and there's we're living examples of a miracle, that because I'll tell you this right now, I didn't go 38 years of my life blinded just because I was blinded. Not at all. I went 38 years of my life with the Lord turning his eyes away from me. That's what we all had. And where was I just reading about that? That was in Ezekiel. Was it in Ezekiel? It was in Ezekiel. But it was like 39, chapter 39 or 4. Yeah, it was chapter 39, I think. I got to read this. It was like verse 27 through 29. "When I have brought them again from the people and gathered them out of their enemies' lands, and am sanctified in them in the sight of many nations, then shall they know that I am the Lord their God, which caused them to be led into captivity among the heathen." I mean, has anyone else wondered why you were kidnapped out from the world, from the way you used to live and see things, and to the way that you see them now? I'm just speaking to the people that went through this, people that saw this, had this huge change in either vision, or some people just became like very led by the Spirit, and they're focused on a different, I don't know how to say it, a different area of where the Spirit's leading them. But so verse 28, or let's see here. Okay, yeah, I was halfway through that. I'll just start over at 28. "Then shall they know that I am the Lord their God, which caused them to be led into captivity among the heathen. But I have gathered them unto their own land," which is probably here where we are right now, or on a replay, if you're watching a replay. and have left none of them any more there. Neither will I hide my face any more from them, for I have poured out my spirit upon the house of Israel, saith the Lord God. That was Ezekiel chapter 39. Okay, so where was I? That I turned back to Isaiah. Oh, because I'm trying to use the Bible to speak this up, saying that these people will come at the end. These people will pop out of nowhere, and that was what I was reading in 44. So then it says, "They that make a graven image are all of them vanity, and their delectable things shall not profit. They are their own witnesses." Because the Lord was calling his witnesses. Oh, I better read that. 43 verse 9, Isaiah. "Let all the nations be gathered together, and let the people be assembled. Who among them can declare this and show us former things? Let them bring forth their witnesses, that they may be justified, or let them hear and say it is truth." So the flat earthers, when we're preaching flat earth, know that you have God's hand on your shoulder in truth, and you're doing a righteous thing. No matter who you're talking to, no matter how much they hate you. That's one thing that I've learned to be strong through, is that I just let that stuff just go by me and continue on with what I'm trying to get to someone. And you just, if they don't want to accept it or hear talk about it, you just let it go. You've brought it up, and you don't want to ruin a relationship over it, because they're not going to hear you. They're going to hear either their own heart or their spirit, or they're going to hear, or they're not, whatever. But our job is not to well, it is to a certain degree to bring it to their attention, but we can't change their mind. That's what I think a lot of people are like, seeing people as stupid that can't see it. Well, that's not what it is. It's that the Lord's not looking at them, really, is what in the spiritual realm. The Lord didn't pour his spirit out, or he did, but they didn't hear his voice. That's just what I'm going with. But there's a reason why, though. There's a reason why, because that doesn't have anything to do with salvation. It doesn't mean they're not saved, or these people that see flat earth are saved more or something. What it is it separates out the first fruits from, I don't know what else you'd call them, the wheats and the tares, and there's a lot of people say sheeps and the goats and whatever. I don't really like to say all that too much, but let's see here. Okay, verse 18, Isaiah 43. "Remember ye not the former things, neither consider the things of old. Behold, I will do a new thing. Now it shall spring forth. Ye shall not know it." Or shall ye not know it? Question mark. Sorry about that. "I will even make a way in the wilderness and rivers in the desert. This people have I formed for myself. They shall show forth my praise." And there's a couple more verses in Isaiah that give us this. Let's see. Okay, verse 16 and 45. Isaiah 45, verse 16. "They shall be ashamed and also confounded, all of them. They shall go into confusion together that are makers of idols." Okay. This I think, maybe some people will see this, maybe they won't. Chapter 48, verse 1. "Hear ye this, O house of Jacob, which are called by the name of Israel, and are come forth out of the waters of Judah, which swear by the name of the Lord, and make mention of the God of Israel, but not in truth nor in righteousness." I'm not trying to divide anybody at all, but I will tell you right now that I believe that this is speaking of a lot of people that love Jesus, and they claim that they believe Jesus and his word, but they don't believe the creation story. They don't believe that the world that they live in was made the way that their God tells them that it was made. So that to me is a problem. But actually, you know what? We can read about it, because check this out. That's interesting how that works. Okay, verse 3 in chapter 48. I've declared the former things from the beginning, and they went forth out of my mouth, and I showed them. I did them suddenly, and they came to pass, because I knew that thou art obstinate, and thy neck is an iron sinew, and thy brow brass. I have even from the beginning declared it to thee. Before it came to pass, I showed it thee, lest thou shouldst say, mine idol hath done them, and my graven image and my molten image hath commanded them. The Big Bang. Oh yeah, it was the Big Bang. This is precisely talking about that. Thou hast heard, see all this, and will not ye declare it? I have showed thee new things from this time, even hidden things, and thou didst not know them. They are created now, and not from the beginning, even before the day when thou heardest them not, lest thou shouldst say, behold, I knew them. Yea, thou heardest not, yea, thou knewest not, from the time that thine ear was not opened. See, that's what I'm talking about. The ear is not open. That it's okay. If you're a flat earther and you've had an opportunity to show someone a very clear thing that can't be misunderstood, and it's like it's crystal clear, and you do it just right, and you look at their face, and they're like, they give you this that made no sense, and you're like, what? And so you see something supernaturally blocking them from understanding, and you're like, whoa, wait a minute. And your first reaction as a human being, just like me, first reaction is like, duh. But then I'm like, that's not the right reaction to have, because CP howitzer, yes, they're lukewarm. And we're not saying that in a negative way, and like an insult. We're saying that it's to believe in something, to have faith in something and believe it, means it abides in you each day when you get up. That's your reality when you wake up. It's not an effort that you're going to make to believe something or whatever. So that's why I think this is dividing out those that are from the foundation of the world. That's just my take. So, okay. For the Watchmen, all ye assemble yourselves and hear which among them hath declared these things. Okay. Verse 16 in chapter 48 of Isaiah. Come ye near unto me, hear ye this. I have not spoken in secret from the beginning, from the time that it was. There am I, and now the Lord God and his Spirit hath sent me. The Spirit of truth is here, you guys. I know that. The Spirit of truth is here, and that's how we hear them, two witnesses in Revelation 11. That's how we're going to hear them. Jesus said in John 16, verse 13, howbeit when he, the Spirit of truth, is come, he will guide you into all truth. Anybody feel like they've been guided into all truth? Like someone just kind of brought you to this truth? That's what I feel like. Shall not speak of himself, but whatsoever he shall hear, that shall he speak, and he will show you things to come. Hi, Polly Firecracker. I was a heathen, also totally self-absorbed and starting to receive visionary art in August 17th. Woken up in March 18th. Love how we are being gathered. Yeah, it's pretty weird, isn't it? It's pretty cool. Anybody that hasn't taken interest in Second Esdras, that book there, chapter 13, to me is like a spiritual, or it's a vision of what's happening in the spiritual world right now in 2018. That's what I think. That's my opinion though, but it's definitely a cool vision to read about, and there's an interpretation of it. Praise Jesus. Okay, so I got a comment that on my channel. Someone was saying, "Don't preach flat Earth. Preach Jesus Christ." And the news flash for that person is, who do you think taught people everywhere in the world all at once flat Earth, in their spirit, in their heart? Who showed us this vision? Praise God in Jesus' name, amen. Ken Hovind was on YouTube channel A Rude Awakening last night talking about flat Earth. Oh, I'll have to check that out. That'll be interesting. I love Kent. He's a great guy, but when it comes to the, just like these Charles Lawson and Steven Anderson, and there's a lot of them. I mean, I don't really follow so much those guys, but what I mean, I do, and they're brothers in Christ. They're just blind at the moment. But that's the thing, is that they're not going to be blind. Dinosaurs aren't real. I couldn't say either way. I'd probably have to. There, like the Leviathan and that thing. Some of the things that are mentioned in the Bible, I think they're real, but I don't think dinosaurs are probably that real. I'd probably have to agree with you on that, but I don't have anything. I'm not the evidence guy for that or something. Let's see here. Okay. So in Revelation 18, verse 24. Actually, we're going to go verse 23 and 24. And the light of the candles shall shine. This is talking about Babylon. The light of the candles shall shine no more at all in thee, and the voice of the bridegroom and of the bride shall be heard no more at all in thee. For thy merchants were the great men of the earth, like the elite, and by thy sorceries were all nations deceived. Witchcraft or sorcery. Wizardry. Think about that. Satan's version of creation. Yeah, that's what that Isaiah was talking about too. Or yeah, was it that Isaiah? Saying that they're the molten gods. They did all this. Where was that? I don't remember where it was. 48 or something like that. Yeah, so anyway, I think I'm probably about done with this. I think. I just think that if we're talking about the son of perdition, let's go read about him. Whoops. Uh-oh. Hold on a minute. I'm just going to flip there in my Bible. It'd be easier. Bloodthirsty Satanist. Yeah, pretty much. But let me comment on, okay, some of this is deliberate evil that some of these people are involved in. But I want to say that the majority of it is just inspiration that they don't even know where it's coming from. They just think it's part of life. That's what I think some of this is. Some of the evil, I mean. Obviously not the some of this pedophilia and some of this kind of stuff. That's just like, that's the evil, the offspring of the fallen angels and the human women. They were giants. When they died, their spirits stayed here. Their spirits are here. And I don't think they're our friends. I mean, I'm just saying that we're not supposed to be, they aren't a creation of God. They're like an abomination so, but they're here. So that's just the one thing to remember. They're not bound with the fallen angels. I think in Enoch also it says about them, and it says they're invisible here. And that's what I got out of it. But let's see here. What was I looking at? I don't remember what I was looking at. My train of thought is lost. So anyway, the son of perdition. That's in 2 Thessalonians, right? Because the son of perdition is here. He's doing all of his work, the false prophet. And he's deceiving the whole world right now. So if I'm a watchman, I got to say that. I got to say that that he's doing great wonders and making fire come down from heaven on earth in the sight of men, and he's deceiving them that dwell on the earth with that miracle. And he's doing it in the sight of the beast at at Kennedy Space Center. Level Earth awakening. Yeah, water's level. We know that. Everybody knows that in their heart. Especially the younger they are, the more they know. That's why I always tell people your toddler is way smarter than you are. No matter what. They just are. They know God way better. They know his world way better. Okay, let's see here. I beheld another beast coming up out of the earth, and he had 2 horns like a lamb, and spake as a dragon. If you can see that. Dragon. Visual. It was a vision. It says, I beheld another beast. That means I saw another beast. So he saw it, and he said it had 2 horns like a lamb. Oh, I gotta let my cat in here. You're all wet, Bobby. 2 horns like a lamb means something. Whether it looks like a lamb or not, that's up to John to judge, not me. So, all right. Heavy Metal Ruined My Life, 1971. Calvin, Eversole, Elizabeth Collier, if that's how you say that. I think that's wrong. Lord is King Jesus. Elohim is Gracious. Shannon, Polly Firecracker, CP Howitzer, Coffee House, Authentic Intent. Is that everybody? Oh, and then Paul on the plane, I think. Paul on the plane. The Bible talks about a plane a lot too. In Zechariah, all the mountains will be made into a plain before the great day of the Lord. Think about that. Flat Earth. The mountains will be made low. So, let's see. Thank you guys all. Eyes wide open. Thank you all for checking it out. Logic Before Authority, Truth Seeker, and Lawrence Cade, Limitless Channel, Stuart Pound, Truth Channel, and Mike, Paul on the Plane. I think that was everybody. And eftupworld. I was here too. All right, guys. Thank you. And I'll end it when I find that page. Have a good day.